Shabbat Shalom and Moedim L'Simcha, Chagim Uzmanim L'Sason. Wishing you a Shabbat of peace and also a very happy holiday season, because we're still in the middle of it actually. We have by now fought the battle of the High Holy Days, and particularly the battle of Yom Kippur. I guess the question is, did we win the battle or not? Actually, according to the tradition, we all won, and now it's time to celebrate. And how do we celebrate the victory over sin and guilt and the burdens of the past? We celebrate Sukkot, and it's a very, very elemental kind of holiday. It's actually a return to the elements. We follow the observance of the holiday by the book. We're supposed to construct a hut-like structure in our backyard or our front yard, however you want to do it. And we take our meals, and some people even go to the extent of living in the sukkah for the duration of the holiday. Now, you might have noticed that the weather in Winnipeg has turned. I'm going to pray for warmer weather, actually, because this temperature is not particularly comfortable for a Jewish picnic. But the idea is to take one's meals at least in the sukkah and to enjoy that feeling of peace and tranquility that comes from being in direct contact with nature at a time when we're celebrating the bounty of nature. This is the time of the harvest, and Sukkot is a harvest holiday, among other things. The specific reason why we build Sukkot on Sukkot is because we're supposed to be reminded of the time that we were wandering in the Sinai Peninsula after the Exodus from Egypt. And we lived very, very simply in those days, and yet in the Jewish memory, that particular time is celebrated and commemorated as a time of special closeness and intimacy with God. And I suppose you could also say with nature. Although they were in the desert, it probably wasn't so pleasant all the time. But we remember the simpler times of Jewish history and the simpler times of human existence, when we didn't have hard floors and solid walls and windproof and rainproof and cold-proof roofs. We used to live much closer to the elements than we do today. And in so doing, you know, maybe we were less comfortable physically, but I have a feeling we were a lot more comfortable spiritually. And I think that's one of the main points of Sukkot, is to remind ourselves of really how close to nature we really are, even though we've insulated ourselves to the extent that we have. Now, there's an interesting controversy in the Talmud about what Sukkot really were. One authority says, we're talking about actual Sukkot. We're talking about booths, huts that our ancestors built in the desert to protect themselves from the elements and so on. But then there's an opinion stated that really the Sukkot that our ancestors lived in the desert weren't actual huts at all, but rather they were Ananei Kavod, which is to say the clouds of the divine glory of God. So what does this mean? I don't think there's actually a contradiction. When one builds a sukkah in one's backyard or whatever, and when one enters into it, one actually feels as if surrounded by the Shekhinah, by the divine presence. It's one of the very, very special aspects of this holiday, is that we actually can enter into a space which by its very nature is sacred. And to sit in a sukkah is to have a very calm and uplifted feeling. And one feels actually that the Shekhinah is there. And so I would urge you to take advantage of this technique of experiencing the presence of God on Sukkot. We have a big sukkah in the parking lot of the Shaarei Tzedek. You're welcome to enter into it just about any time and to sit in it and enjoy the ambiance of the divine presence. And of course there's various rituals of Sukkot. I actually don't think I'm going to have time to go into it on this video, but hopefully on the next one we can talk about the lulav and the etrog and all that symbolizes. In the meantime, I want to wish you again Moedim L'Simcha, Chagim Uzmanim L'Sason. These holidays are here for us to enjoy and to celebrate, and hopefully you will do so in the way that you can. We have many, many services throughout the holiday here at Sharet Tzedek, you're invited to come and enjoy with us and to sit with us in our sukkah and enjoy the presence of the Divine One. Shabbat Shalom.